Do I like King Kong?
Nope.
All right, your turn, Ray.
Okay.
My name is Sarah, and I'm 16 years old, and this is Ray Blanchett right beside me here.
My bestie is Sarah.
You've got a friend in me.
We like to dance, we like to swim, and of course playing games, giggles, and ice cream.
Let's go, Steve!
Simon, Helen, we hang out and go out for lunch, movie, or the hockey game. We have a lot of fun.
Good fun, yeah.
What is your favorite TV show?
Favorite TV show? Friends.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Grace Reach, and this is my friends Cassidy, Alyssa Fraser, and Jason Charles Konowalchuk. We do a lot of cool stuff together.
They are amazing friends. They're like my brother and sister.
Yeah.
There is no hole over here. Really, are you? Oh.
Hi, I'm Chris Sayer. This is my friends Eric and Nicholas, and my best friend is Andrew Gordon. They're the greatest friends I know. Having a meal, and a drink, watching a game. It's the best.
All three of them have made me happy.
And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me.
My name is Andrea Lee. I'm a teacher and certified sexual health educator at the Down Syndrome Resource Foundation. I started working here in 2015. I've had a front row seat to the development of many friendships with people with Down syndrome. And I've seen a lot of people who may have never had a close friend before find friendships.
Oh, you.
It's important for people with Down syndrome to have meaningful friendships for all the same reasons why it's important for anybody to have meaningful friendships in their life. You want that feeling of connection, belonging, and purpose. You want joy and countless memories, laughing until you cry, being part of your community, and being loved and supported by others.
Let's go ahead, roll.
There's a commonly cited statistic that says that about 50% of people with intellectual and developmental disabilities are chronically lonely. This compares to about 15 to 30% of the general population that would report the same thing. And this has a lot of negative impacts on people with Down syndrome, like anxiety, depression, low self-esteem, and even suicidal ideation. Cognitive, physical, and mental health concerns will be compounded by chronic loneliness. This can include regression in communication skills, regression in memory, and cognitive decline. There are so many benefits in somebody with Down syndrome having a really wonderful friendship.
My name is Lizzie Carolyn, and I'm a speech-language pathologist at DSRF. I really love working with the families and the students here. It's just so fantastic to be a part of this lovely and supportive community. The double empathy problem is a theory that refers to the idea that it's easier to be understood amongst peers who share similar experiences. It's much easier to put yourself in their shoes and understand where they're coming from if you share those same experiences. Confusion and misunderstanding can come up when you don't share those same experiences or have that same common ground to draw from. Shared experience can also be related to your own brain wiring, or often referred to as a neurotype. Each neurotype comes with its own set of social norms. We often think of social norms as the unwritten rules for social interaction, such as making eye contact or having back and forth conversation, engaging in small talk, things like that. But these are now being understood as one set of social norms, mostly associated with neurotypical people. When people with different neurotypes interact, so when a neurotypical person and a person with Down syndrome interact, misunderstandings can more easily arise just because there's not the same kind of social norms. People within their own neurotypes often report feeling more easily understood because they follow the same social norms.
Do I like donuts? Of course you do. Yes.
There's two main ways of overcoming the double empathy problem: educating neurotypicals to create more neurodiversity affirming friendships, and then making sure that loved ones with Down syndrome have opportunities to connect with peers.
The neurodiversity affirming movement started in the 1990s with autistic self-advocates. Neurodiversity affirming is the idea that neurological differences are natural and should be accepted rather than considered deficits that need to be fixed. Neurodivergent individuals, like people with Down syndrome, have differences in their abilities and how they interact with the world around them. These differences are not considered deficits. Rather, individuals with Down syndrome would be considered natural in their neurodiversity and not better or worse than anybody else. Neurodiversity affirming friendship means that your friend accepts you entirely for who you are. You may have many differences, but it's not bad.
A way to promote supportive friendships between neurotypicals and people with Down syndrome is around being a supportive communicator. So not putting the burden of understanding or repairing communication breakdowns on the person with Down syndrome. Instead, working together. So you could do things like checking in with the person, saying, did I hear that right? Did I understand that? You could draw out a picture of what you think they might be talking about to check in with them. So just keeping in mind that communication is a collaborative effort. I also think it's really important to create opportunities for people with Down syndrome and neurotypicals to connect over mutual passions and interests. Research has shown that this is a fantastic way to build connections between neurodivergent and neurotypical individuals. It's also important for individuals with Down syndrome to make peer connections and connect with other people with Down syndrome or other developmental disabilities, because spending time with others who have shared social norms can help your loved ones feel more confident in who they are. There's more opportunities to be themselves and connect in an authentic way.
Sarah and Ray met about 6 or 7 years ago, I believe, when Sarah first started doing synchronized swimming. Her and Ray just connected, and Ray made Sarah feel very comfortable right off the bat. It's been really a treat to watch this friendship blossom.
Sarah makes me feel supported.
Sarah and Ray have been fabulous friends since they met. They greet each other with such glee. They are supportive of each other. If one of them's down, the other one's there to give them a hug or support. They're like each other's cheering squad.
We would hug and giggle all the time.
One of the common misconceptions about friendships within the Down syndrome community is there are a lot of barriers that come with Down syndrome that might make it hard to be a friend. Challenges with communicating, with expressive language. I've noticed that is not at all the case. There are so many ways to communicate. Speaking's just one of them, and other people with Down syndrome will find a way. I've seen friendships where one person is completely non-speaking, and her best friend, all they do is gossip, just walking around. They might use AAC, they might use body language, maybe they're using sound effects and gestures, and they're having the best time. And other people might not have guessed that that would make them really good friends. A common characteristic I see in friendship with people with Down syndrome is a lot of patience. I think this comes from having shared experiences and knowing that sometimes somebody just needs a little bit extra time to do what they were going to do or say what they were going to say. Humor is a really important characteristic of friendships with people with Down syndrome.
I can make him laugh whenever I want because they say I make a really good joke, he must laugh.
You'll see a lot of really repetitive jokes.
I'm the jokester around here. And sometimes I like to watch her dancing. I like dance behind her. I'm so
like that.
I've seen some friends telling the same joke for about 9 years, and I think there's a lot of reasons for that. If there are challenges with expressive language, sometimes you work with what you have. And if that's your perfect joke with the great delivery, maybe it's with a lot of physical humor, maybe it's with a lot of sound effects, and it's making people laugh, you're gonna go for it. And it might continue to make people laugh for decades. And that's what's bringing you joy. And if you're not getting tired of it and nobody else is too, you're gonna keep going with it. And it brings a lot of comfort and joy to everybody around you.
All the friends here, it all made me like happy laughter, and make people happy.
One type of play that's important to people with Down syndrome is parallel play. Typically what you'll see in parallel play is a child with a toy playing on their own, but next to another child doing their own thing. What that might look like in a teen or an adult with Down syndrome is you can be with your friends, you'll each be focused on your own activity, but you'll be doing it together.
How was your food, by the way?
Tastes good.
Some people might think this looks like you're not being very social because you're not engaging or interacting with the other person. However, you kind of are. When you're focused on your own thing, but you're with somebody else, there's opportunities to look at what the other person is doing, and you can talk when you want to, how you want to. This can be really refreshing instead of being forced to communicate and talk all of the time, if that's something that might be challenging or tiring for you.
So Nashville have the best country songs ever.
Oh, that's
What songs?
what songs?
Come and Find Me, Saved, Telescope,
Nice.
Love Like Mine.
Yep.
A really common shared interest for friendships of people with Down syndrome is that love of music. It doesn't even have to be the same type of music. You can see them communicating through music.
And I like to listen to different songs like folk music
Oh, nice.
and country
And I know you like country, Jay.
yeah.
They'll learn each other's musical tastes, favorite songs to dance to. Even if they're listening to different things, they'll still recommend things to each other.
I like Chilliwack.
And Chilliwack is also a Canadian band.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I've seen friends make entire friendship playlists for that one particular friendship and a completely different one for when they're hanging out with somebody else. And I've seen friends who they'll hear a lyric that says something that they're feeling better than they could express themselves, and they'll send that to their friend. And it's a really beautiful way to communicate.
I also love gospel music.
Oh, me too.
Something I see in a lot of friendships with Down syndrome is a lot of love and a lot of support, and knowing how to give that to somebody. And it might be with words of kindness, it might be being somebody's biggest cheerleader. Very often, it's a really well-placed hug or a cuddle when somebody really needs it.
Yeah, me and yeah.
Something that you'll see in a lot of friendships with Down syndrome is a lot of physical affection. And I think this comes from touch starvation. Touch starvation, or touch deprivation, is basically humans have their own desires to have touch with other people. It's different for every type of person, but this touch can be met in many different ways, through family, through romantic partners, or through friendships. When somebody is touch deprived, it can lead to issues with sleep and sleep deprivation. It can lead to anxiety, increase in stress, or depression. It's unclear if people with Down syndrome are touch deprived than others, but they definitely face a lot more barriers than others. They may have a harder time forming romantic relationships where a lot of people will get their touch needs met. They may have fewer social interactions, like joining sports teams and getting the high fives there.
Yeah. Yeah.
When they do make a really close friendship, you might see them touching a lot and in ways you wouldn't expect some friends to touch. Hugging, kissing, cuddling, joking around in a very friendly way. And this could be to get their needs met. It's really important that people with Down syndrome get to choose how much touch they get and what kind of touch they get and from who. And who better than from their friends that they really love and trust and support.
Everyone
deserves to be happy.
Your goal in life when you have children is that your children are happy and enjoy their life. And so for her to now be reaching out and having her friends and having people she texts independently and being invited places, it makes me feel great.
For families who want to help their loved one with Down syndrome cultivate friendships, I would say please prioritize it. It's really, really important.
So what can you do as parents or caregivers to help support your loved one with Down syndrome in making authentic and meaningful peer connections? I think it's really fantastic to help your loved one discover their interests. So let them explore different things and help them reflect on what they like and what they don't like. And then seeking out opportunities to connect with other kids or adults, depending on the age of your loved one, over these interests.
The easiest way to make friends is to have people that you can see on a regular basis without having to schedule anything. They just happen to be the same place as you every week or every month.
Sarah, she looks forward to different activities because she knows there's certain people there that she really wants to see. So for synchronized swimming, it's her friend Ray. For Challenger Baseball, it's her good friend Libby and Kate. And she looks more forward to these events because there's someone there she can connect with.
When you're with your loved one with Down syndrome, you can also think about narrating social interactions to help make things more explicit or obvious too. So talking about what someone's body language says. You know, if you're noticing that someone is maybe quite close and the other person is uncomfortable, you can say, ooh, their face is telling me that they look uncomfortable. Let's take a step back and give them some space. Or if someone is engaged in play on their own, doing their own thing, you might say to your loved one with Down syndrome, it looks like they're busy, we can ask them a question later. And then speaking aloud about, questions you might want to ask, or saying aloud, I know this person really loves sports, let's ask them, have they watched any sports games recently or played any fun sports lately?
Another thing when you're trying to cultivate friendships is to have a wider spectrum of what you consider to be hanging out.
Like Zoom or FaceTime or Instagram, all that.
We have a phone, we text each other.
And it's an expert at texting.
We text and we make phone calls through planning.
Yep.
Hanging out online, on Zoom, through video games, texting each other things are all very valid way to keep in touch with your friends. It's more accessible, and for many people it's just as satisfying as seeing each other in person.
Our friends are important because they're kind, and also they make you laugh.
I feel so lucky to see so many meaningful friendships between individuals with Down syndrome develop and grow here at DSRF.
And I'm so glad they came here and found their friend group, found their people, found the people who saw what they brought to the party, loved their energy, and now they can all just be their goofy, wonderful, loving, silly selves together.
I'm actually the peacemaker. I always...
I'm the peacemaker.
Oh, that cracks me up every single time I deal with disagreed together.
Yeah, right.
I love seeing my clients being respected, understood, and enjoyed for exactly who they are. And I also love seeing all of the unique ways that people interact and engage in meaningful friendships.
They're unique and they're really amazing friends to me.
They are beautiful inside and out, and I love how unique they are. And I love how different they are. It's a comfort to have friends like these.
I feel really lucky that this is part of my job and that I get to help this in any way. It's really, really cool. I just love that.
Yeah. Yeah, you.
Where's that glass?
Buddy.